Some news just coming in. Farmer leader Tikait has slammed the centre, says Dorsey's claims could be true. Tikait says one getting the reach we expected. But Dorsey said could be correct. Remember, this is a controversy that has been generated over Jack Dorsey's revelations, former Twitter boss's revelations, over the government suppressing the voices of many people on its platform.
उस टाइम पे भी भारत सरकार ने ये हमको जानकारी थी कि जितने रिच फेसबुक और ट्विटर पे आने चाहिए किसान मूवमेंट के, वो नहीं आ रहे और ये लोकल स्तर पे रोकने की कोशिश करते थे। और जो इसको मालिक था उसने बिल्कुल अब स्पष्ट कहा ही है। लेकिन जो भी ऐप हैं, जो कंपनियां ये चलाते हैं इस तरह की, वे किसी के प्रेशर में नहीं आते। उसने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा, भारत सरकार ने ये एफर्ट्स किए होंगे।
Remember, Rakesh Tikait was involved in the farmers' movement months ago, and this is what exactly is he saying, that this entire movement was suppressed, and that's what the sense really was from the very beginning. Well, a huge showdown, of course, over former Twitter boss Jack Dorsey's claim. In a stunning allegation, he's claimed he received many requests from the government of India, led by the Bharatiya Janata Party, during the farmers' protest, around voices which were critical of the government. Alleged he was told if Twitter won't follow suit, then their offices is going to be shut. Not just that, he's even claimed he was told that homes of his employees would be raided as well. The government, however, has been quick to rubbish Dorsey's claim, calling an outright lie, hitting back at him. The government said neither anyone was jailed nor was Twitter shut down. Countering his allegations made over the farm stir, the government said there was misinformation galore and that they had to remove it. BJP trained guns at Congress, highlighting how his remarks timed Rahul Gandhi's visit to the US, calling his tour nothing but core agenda. The Congress has lashed out at the government, saying Dorsey has totally exposed those in power.
India, for example, India is a country that had many requests of us around the farmers' protest, around particular journalists that were critical of the government, and it manifested in ways such as we will shut Twitter down in India, which is a very large market for us. We will raid the homes of your employees, which they did. We will shut down your offices if you don't follow suit. And this is India, a democratic country.
I have already tweeted early morning on this statement by Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey was the CEO of Twitter during a very, very dubious period in Twitter's history. What he has said is an outright lie, and I have said that publicly, and I'm reiterating it again. Twitter is a company that believed that it was not necessary for it to comply with Indian law. It believed that it did not have to comply with Indian law and made up its rules as it went along. And the government of India has been very clear from the very beginning, for all companies that operate in India, they have to always comply with Indian law. That is point number one. Point number two, I just want to refresh Jack Dorsey's memory, and certainly all your viewers, that between 2020 and 2022, Twitter was violating Indian law multiple times, and it was in non-compliance several times during those 2 years, and it started complying only in June 2022. During that entire period, nobody went to jail, nobody was raided, and so Jack Dorsey, knowing fully well that Twitter did not comply with Indian law and did not face any consequence of that, is today lying and making up this story about raids and arrests.
He had been saying, particularly the Congress party or leader Rahul Gandhi ji has been saying for long that India's democracy is under threat. And it is under attack also. In Parliament, when opposition parties are not allowed to speak, when we speak, our mics get switched off. Media has been threatened, and now the social media platforms have been threatened. That's all misusing the agencies. It has come to light now. Truth one day will come out. Today, the truth on Jack's part has come out now. Government can't just hide everything, and they can't continue to in a mode of denial only.
Well, the government has rejected all these allegations, saying that some of the accounts were actually spreading misinformation, they were giving genocidal calls, and therefore it was forced to act upon, and therefore all these allegations are absolutely absurd.
This is the way of any authoritarian government will speak like this only. History also shows that thing. Therefore, whomever speaks against their policies or their programs have been called as anti-nationals. You call it whatever they wanted to call it. They will agents of Britishers or agent of Americans or whatever they call it. But
there are two parts to this. The first is the Congress party's U-turn from a party that always claimed to be the ones who moved out the foreigners and the British from India, to one who now desperately needs help of foreigners, including the British and the Europeans and the Americans, as per Rahul Gandhi ji, to interfere in Indian democracy. So therefore this is the new Congress, which is looking at these kind of involvements, interferences into India. The second is the comment of Jack Dorsey, which is, and Rajiv Chandrasekharji, who's the minister, has come on record. So Mr. Joe Dorsey's statement is a bundle of lies. It's a bundle of untruths. It's an agenda. It is not a statement of fact. It also reflects a trend that a set of people who claim to be the great warriors of freedom of speech, the great warriors for freedom and democratic values, are the ones who come up with the most dubious claims. So one wonders whether they are actually politicians in disguise or they are paid lobbyists.
See, this is quite childish on part of the BJP. Jack Dorsey was heading a global corporation which is also operating in India. He was talking about his experience of operating his company in India. And it is very clear, and it only confirms our suspicions, and it's what we've been always saying, that this government is very, very intolerant to voices of dissent. And they always want to shut down any opinion which is different from theirs. And Jack Dorsey was only alluding to that. And Jack Dorsey did not give some exclusive interview about India. He was talking about his experiences globally. He alluded to Turkey, he alluded to Russia. So, he put India in the same basket. So, I mean, the minute, if another overseas citizen or a national says that India's economy is growing, or this Prime Minister is a great man, the BJP will immediately lap it up. But if somebody criticizes the way this government is functioning, they will immediately be labeled as an agent. I mean, this is quite childish on part of the BJP, and this is their normal tactics.
It is exactly what his defense was yesterday when there was a data leak reported about through the COVID app, where people's private data was being shared through a Telegram bot. He totally denied that breach. This goes on to show that this government will continue to be in denial till the time it goes against the narrative. What Jack Dorsey has said is just something that the nation has witnessed. The farmers were called anti-nationals. The farmers were called terrorists. The bill was passed without hearing the opposition voices. The opposition MPs, when they were protesting inside the parliament, were suspended. Their voices were silenced. We've seen how an entire propaganda was unleashed on social media platforms, how social media has been weaponized by the Bharatiya Janata Party to set up their own hate narrative. Why was this government silent when the bully by news happened? Again on these platforms? Wasn't it against the compliance of laws? Why did they take no action? Unfortunately, while I have been at the forefront of coming up with guidelines and making these social media platforms accountable, it's unfortunate that the policy that was drafted is put in favor of the government of the day.